All right, everyone, welcome to another episode of the Indy Investor Pod. This is Indy Investors talking Indy investing, and today we've got a really good episode about neighborhoods and all the different areas that Indy has to offer. So, as always, take some notes and let's get on with today's episode. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Indy Investor Pod, and today we've got Gloria Gear. She's an agent with Keller Williams, and as always, it's always a popular topic, the different neighborhoods around Indianapolis. And I wanted to get an agent's perspective. Gloria is also an investor and works with a lot of investors herself. And I'll kind of let her introduce herself. But we've never really had someone on the show that's also a real estate agent doing business in every area of the city. And we haven't had anyone give their input on the different areas and the kind of the different things you could do around Indianapolis. So Gloria, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me today, Randy.
Absolutely, no problem. So before we get into this, why don't you go ahead and just briefly just introduce yourself, kind of explain what you've got going on, and we can get on with the neighborhood talk.
So like you said, my name's Gloria. I am a licensed traditional real estate agent with Keller Williams. I do regular homeowners, that kind of stuff too. So I'm familiar with that market, but 90% of my business is investors. I just kind of fell into it, really like that side of the business. Most of the people that I deal with are out of state. Some of them have never, ever been here before. In fact, I've had some that have bought several and still haven't visited Indianapolis yet. So I've really had to work on finding ways to explain to them what Indianapolis is and what the different areas are, and just kind of make it easy for them to go and do their own research. And like you said, this is my opinion. I mean, there's lots of different opinions on the different neighborhoods and in the area. So things that I say is just things that I've researched. I like particular neighborhoods. Someone might like a completely different neighborhood. Yeah. And that's what's great about Indianapolis is the diversity, because you can really find all assets of the investment world in Indianapolis here. We have such an economic diversity and such a diversity in the housing. So there really is something for everybody in every type and every price range of investing in the Indianapolis area.
Yeah, I love how you mentioned that. It's your opinion and everyone's going to have kind of different opinions. But overall, I think everyone who is active in Indy and knows the city, your notes are probably going to be pretty similar to everyone else's, and you'll have your own little take on each area. So, Gloria, when you meet a new investor, you've got a unique approach that I love, because the way Indianapolis is kind of spread out, but you have, you kind of separate it like a clock, right?
That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
So, hi, sorry.
It's all
there
good.
You go.
It's all good.
So yes, this is basically, hopefully you can edit that out, Randy. If not, hey, it is what it is, right? So we really, if you look at Indianapolis, there's a big circle all the way around the Indianapolis area. Right downtown, if you come and visit, we have Monument Circle right in the middle of downtown. And then around it, we have 465, which is a circle.
Like
and
your
so
clock.
It's really nice to kind of refer to it as a clock. So if it's okay with you, Randy, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can kind of see this. I'm just using a simple Google map on here so that we can kind of see that.
Yeah, so if you're watching the podcast, you can follow along on the screen with Gloria. If you're listening, go ahead, pull up a Google map of just Indianapolis, and you can kind of follow along with what Gloria says. So yeah, it looks like you're ready to go. So let's just start where you want, and we'll just take it from there.
Okay. So right down here, kind of where this N and A is, you can kind of see it's a really close-knit grid right down there in the middle of Indianapolis. That's where Monument Circle is. This is 465. It's a big circle that goes all the way around. And then what I like to try to do is find some of the big places in town that you would be able to easily find on a map. So the first thing I like to do is go straight out 9 o'clock. Okay. So this is Speedway. And you can always, if you go on Google Maps, you can just look for the Indy 500, the track, anything like that, and you can zoom in on that. So that's 9 o'clock. This is the west area of town. And then if you go straight south, this is the where University of Indianapolis is. Outside of town down here is Greenwood. Oh, I forgot to mention, on the west side of town, this is Marion County, but on the west side of town is Hendricks County, Brownsburg, Avon, and Plainfield out there. When you
Okay.
go straight south, let me zoom out just a little bit, you'll see Greenwood. And that is Johnson County, which is the county to our south. And then on the east side, Greenfield is the town that's way out there, but usually Lawrence is usually what we refer to as the east side.
Okay.
And then up north, that is Carmel, Fisher, Zionsville, Whitestown. So those are the outskirts of town. So you can kind of see that whole area there. Then I'm going to go ahead and switch, and I'm going to go in detail more. I just wanted to give you an overview. If you look at the township map, a lot of times I like to talk in townships instead of zip codes,
Okay.
just because it kind of breaks it down a little bit more easily for investors. So if you look at this map, this is Center Township. So this is right where most of the downtown Indianapolis is. And then if you look in like the Board of Realtors, we even have this split into a grid. So it's northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest. So this kind of like breaks that grid down a little bit more. Then you see our circle. This is 465 again. And then these are kind of like the donut townships is what some people refer them to. So over on the west, we've got Pike, Wayne, Decatur, Perry, and Franklin on the south, Warren and Lawrence on the east, and then Washington is the north township. So this is kind of, again, we've got that circle going there. So that kind of just really breaks it down just a little bit.
Okay.
So does that make sense so far?
Yeah, that's awesome. I know there's a lot of investors that do kind of separate their criteria by township, so it's good to see the map.
And that's super easy to just Google that and bring that up for those of you that are watching. Just Google Marion Township, Indiana. I'm sorry, Marion County, Indiana Township Maps, and that'll pull that up for you. Okay, so back to our Google map then. So again, we're going to go straight 9 o'clock. That's where the track is, Indy 500. Speedway itself, I really like Speedway and what they've done there. I went to a Chamber of Commerce meeting there, and they really kind of laid out like what they've done so far and what they're planning on doing. Basically, a lot of the race car drivers have started investing in Speedway area. And if you go downtown, there's lots of little cute bars, there's breweries, there's a like a convention center that you can use for weddings. There's an indoor go-kart track that's really cool. So a lot of development, and they've really turned it into a really cute downtown area. Then what's happened is a lot of developers, investors have gone in there and taken these houses and not just restored them, but actually renovated them. They actually restored them. So it's all 1950s bungalows. Most of them are 3-bedroom, 1-bath. It's attracted a lot of young professionals to the area because it only takes about 15 minutes to get to downtown Indianapolis if you're looking there. So a lot of these houses that even just a few years ago we were able to pick up for 70 or 80,000. Now it's like about 100,000 for a house that needs renovated. But the average selling price right now in Speedway is 180,000, which has really just almost doubled in the last few years. So it's Speedway is like 1950s types area that is just kind of a really good booming area for young professionals. Just north of there is a little tiny neighborhood called Eagledale. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. So Eagledale is mostly post-World War type neighborhood. There you can see the track a little bit here. So all of this is considered, sorry, I got to talk to the people that are not watching on the podcast. So basically everything to the west of the Speedway over to 465 and down to about 10th Street. That's really the Speedway city area, town area. And it's in its own, it actually is its own little city, has its own school district. So just north of there, which would be 25th Street up to 38th and even a little bit further than that. And then from like Lafayette Road all the way over to the highway again is a little neighborhood called Eagledale. So just think of after World War II, they came in, they built all of these cookie cutter little houses. A lot of them have aluminum siding, even some of them even have aluminum roofs on them, but they're just tanks. They're just really nice, you know, really well built. They're usually about 3-bedroom, 1-bath, about 1,000 square feet. And if you get one of these and even need to fix it up, really it's like once you get in there, put air conditioning in it, fix up the furnaces, there's really not a whole lot that you have to do with these houses. And they rent all day long. So again, some of the points have changed, as all of Indianapolis has right now.
Mm-hmm.
I have one story real quick. I have an investor friend that invests in the Eagledale area. He had a house for 14 years, I think, in this area, had a little old lady that lived in it. And he said he paid the house off 5 times before this little old lady moved on. And he
Wow.
even offered to sell it to her. And they're just really good cash flowing areas.
Yeah.
Right now, I would say Eagledale area is probably going for about 70 to 90,000. But on the, like I said, the 3-bedroom, 1 bath, about 1,000 square feet, you can get rents for about 950 there. So in my opinion, this area is more of a hold area. So get
Yeah.
in there, put a little bit of cosmetic into it. And the property managers that I work with, literally they put a sign in the yard and it's gone. Like they don't even have to do a whole lot of online marketing. It's just because there's so many rentals in the area. It's a close knit community. So a lot of the, the people that are living there have a brother, an uncle, or someone else that wants to be in the area. And so they'll have that for them, and it rents out very, very quickly. So that's kind of one of my favorite neighborhoods.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to zoom back out just a little bit. We're going to go up to the northwest corner. Okay, so we're about 11 o'clock. And this basically entails both the inside. If we go back to our township map, if you see that, it's kind of inside and outside of 465 is this Pike Township area here. So the farther you get from downtown, the newer the houses get. So I would say Pike Township is probably like 1970s, 1980s houses is what most of them are. And there a lot of the vinyl villages, kind of cookie cutter type stuff from that area, and some 1990s too. But again, I would say that this area is very much a mix of homeowners and rentals. You can get some good flips in this area. Like if you can get one that's pretty inexpensive, you might be able to do some flips in here. But again, I would say that this is more of a hold type area.
Okay.
Your typical, let's say 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,200 square feet, either a ranch on a slab. Some of them are 2 stories. You can get those right around 150 right now, I guess is the price point. They are going up slightly now. So even like if we do a range of like 140 to 160, now the rentals in this area right now, I would say are 1,200 to 1,300. So we're not quite exactly hitting that 1%, but this whole area up here is very much just a really steady community. And not huge ups and downs in the price ranges on selling points, but just very steady. And then your rents are also steadily increasing in this area as well.
So real quick, Gloria. So when you're mentioning values, so when you mentioned you can get one for about 150 in this area, so that's the retail value after
That's
everything.
retail value. Yes.
Okay.
So
Okay.
sorry.
Just
Just to
want to
clarify.
clear that up. Yep.
Yep. I am a traditional real estate agent. So I'm talking what you can find on my board of realtors on the retail market. So,
Okay.
So speaking to wholesalers, if you can get, the price is less than this in this area.
Under one. Yep.
Yeah, that's about what you should be able to hit your 1% on your rents then.
Okay. Cool.
So yes, thanks for the clarification. We are talking retail values, and then on rents, it's ranges, because there's always a little bit of discrepancy there. So again, Pike Township schools are pretty good. They're I would say on the higher end for Indianapolis public schools. And in this area, you're looking to rent to families. So you're going to want to check out your school districts as well, because that's going to be a good factor there. I also would say in this area, you're going to want more the 3-2s. So you want to have a 2-bathroom, especially if you're kind of target marketing families. So then as we go down just a little bit, so we're Wayne Township, which again is right kind of straddles the 465 line. So you're on the inside and outside of 465.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of 465, I think is one of my favorite areas for holds. They've got Ben Davis High School in that area, which is one of the best high schools in Indianapolis. Again, price ranges are starting to creep up, and we're at September 2020 if some of you are listening to this later. So the prices could change well. So on the retail market right now, I would say we're 150s to 170s in this area. And then down, go down just a little bit. So Wayne Township really is this whole area on the outside following Indianapolis Speedway, and then all the way down to 40, which 40 and 465 is where the airport is.
Mm-hmm.
Right in that whole area down to the south end of town is a lot of warehouses and distribution centers. So it attracts a lot of blue collar workers, which are going to be your good solid tenants. Again, 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, about 1,250 square feet. You're going to get ranges of 1,200 to 1,400 for rents in this area. Again, the retail prices right now are about 150 to 170. I actually personally myself did a flip in this area this over the springtime where I got a house for 130,000. It actually was a 3-bedroom. I turned it into a 4-bedroom. I spent about, it was mostly cosmetic, but I spent about $30,000. And then I sold it on the retail market first day for 212,000. So
Wow.
that is
Nice.
kind of rare, but it was a good deal. And so if you can find that kind of stuff in this area, the retail market is really going skyrocketing over on this west side of town. So yes, if you can still find some really good solid rentals, again, because of the economy in this area, because of the good school district, it is a good rental area. But at the same time, there are homeowners attracted to this area as well. So you might be able to find a good flip in that area. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the south side. And I'm kind of concentrating more on Marion County for now. I mean, I love the outskirts counties, but I would say, well, let's just talk a little bit. On the west side is Hendricks County, Brownsburg, Avon, and Plainfield. Your property values are really going up on the retail market, 7 to 10% increasing year over year.
Yeah,
So
there
if
is
you
really,
want to,
it's
if
really
you want to build
increasing.
some equity over there, it is a great place to build equity.
Mm-hmm.
On the like Hendricks County rental Facebook groups and stuff I'm on, people are begging for rentals all the time. The school districts over there are all A-rated, really good school districts. And so if they're trying to get out into those A-rated school districts, the retail market, the houses literally are gone in 12 hours.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are begging for rentals. So if you can find them in that area, that's great. I would say 14 to 1,600 is your range in Hendricks County for rentals. Again, that's our standard, like 1,200 square foot. So that would depend. If you get a 4-bedroom, you're obviously going to get a little bit more. Flips over in that area, again, if you can find one, even that's, because most of them are 1990s and newer with just a few that are kind of scattered around in Hendricks County. If you can find them and fix them up and put some granite countertops in it, and you kind of have to do a higher end flip, you're going to sell it immediately, because Hendricks County, we just can't keep anything on the market over there at all. So that's what I would say for the investing market over there. Not so much your 1% hold, but again, if you want to have a balance of equity and your cash flow, Hendricks County might be what you want to look into. So on the south side then, so you can see when I zoom out here, here is the airport. So just north of here is Wayne Township. And then if we go flip back to our township map, we have Decatur and Perry Township over here. I think these are 2 townships that you really need to watch. So because of the airport, because of some businesses that are going in there and concentrating on that, because of distribution centers, because of Amazon has a couple of different things that they have going for both distribution centers and packing centers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of jobs coming to this whole area. So this Decatur, clicked on that, Decatur Township here and Perry Township, I think are going to be really good, solid rental properties and possibly flip areas as well. So again, your rental ranges, I would say, are like $1,200 to $1,500 in this range. The property retail prices right now, you can sometimes find 130,000 all the way up to 180,000. There really is a big range, because you can find the 1950s, 1960s, nice, solid, good brick ranches on a slab that, just will, very, very low maintenance, or you can find all the way up into the 1980s and 1990s vinyl villages. It's really a big mix in these bottom corners here. So because of, just look into the economic development in that area. That's going to be some really good areas to watch. And it's not going to be huge. I'm going to find a house for $30,000, put a little bit of money into it and sell it for 300.
Right.
But it's just a nice, good, solid area for both, low end flips with not a whole lot to put into it, plus cash flowing on your cash flowing on rental properties as well. And then just while we're here, just to the south here is Greenwood. So to me, Greenwood is like the second most affluent area in Indianapolis. Again, you can find some good properties. There's a nice little downtown area with older houses like 1900s to 1930s. If you go in there, do a good reno on them, it's becoming popular for people to have these old houses that have already been fixed up. They don't want to do the work themselves. So on the retail market, you can make a good profit on that. And then also it's a really good rental area. Greenwood is a really good rental area as well. So again, price is a little bit higher in the retail market down here. I would say your average price point is about $200,000 in Greenwood and above. And that's on the smaller houses. And then of course they've got the $400,000 and $500,000 houses down in Greenwood as well. So kind of a mix down there. So Franklin Township is another really good area, I feel, that's been kind of overlooked. Again, kind of a mix of the 50s and 60s style houses. I found a lot of like tri-level houses, bi-level houses in this area that, again, they make just really good rentals. Because I would say over here in this area and then up into Warren Township, there's more on this side of town, more manufacturing type jobs. So that's the type of tenants that you're going to get that are going to be the type of tenants that you're going to get in there and they're going to last for 7 to 10 years. So it's a really good steady area in this whole little corner down here. I have been finding some like 1980s, 1990s vinyl villages over here. And I feel like the price point on this side of town is less expensive than the west side of town. So there's more of a mix, I think, of rentals on the east side of town than the west side. And the more you're outside the circle here, it's just nice, steady, like subdivision type things where it's lots of kids in the area, that side of things. So that's my opinion of Franklin. Warren Township, Warren is kind of a mix for me. So let's see the map there. So it's straight west. So we're straight 3 o'clock here from the center of downtown. My opinion, and again, this is my opinion, I feel like it's very street by street over there. Yeah. That you've got some areas that are great, and then there's some areas that are the older, I don't know if they even go down to the 1930s, but definitely 40s and 50 houses that haven't been kept up very well. But you can find more bargains on this side of town as well. What I have found more like the farther you go out from the circle, the more you're going to get nice, good tenants in this area. They're going to last a long time, take care of your properties. I feel like this whole area, all of Warren and then up into Lawrence Township, is going to be more your nice tenant-based type areas. Again, because there's more manufacturing on the side of town. You can get a little bit less expensive on the east side of town than the west. I have a favorite area in Lawrence. Let me see if I can zoom into it, that I've had a lot of investors get in this area. And again, we're on the outside of the circle here. Sorry if I'm making any of you dizzy. Let's go out a little bit more. So outside of 465, we'll wait for that to catch up for us. Kind of like what my guideline is North German Church Road. So if you go east of North German Church Road and north of 30th, there's like a really good pocket of houses in this area. I'm sorry, this is not working for us well. That is just, they're all built in the 80s and 90s. A lot of times on the retail market, again, a couple of years ago, we were finding them for $90,000. Now they're like in the $130,000 to $150,000 range.
Yeah.
But sorry, I totally screwed up this map here.
No, you're fine.
Let's go back out a little bit and it'll help me get back in. All right, so here we go. So here's Lawrence. We're on the outside of 465. Okay, let's go one zoom in so we find it. Okay, so you see North German Church Road here right in the center.
Yep.
And then 30th Street. So if we come down, This whole area, all in here, is all 1980s and 1990s subdivisions. So again, you can get them for about 130 to 150, and we can rent them out for about 1,300 to 1,500. So we're kind of hitting our 1% there really well. Now, once we go in here, and again, I'm a licensed real estate agent, I can't steer, but I'm just going to say, go check your crime maps in this area.
Yeah.
So there really is, and if you come to town, like I like to take my investors and just drive down. So this is one of those areas that's very much street by street. So don't just say, okay, I have the zip code and I can buy anything in this zip code. Especially in this area of town, I would say you're really going to have to get some boots on the ground, get a wholesaler, get a property manager, get a contractor, someone that can say, yes, this is a good house. No, it's not. So yes, you can find some really, really good bargains in Lawrence Township, but you also can get taken to the cleaners as well. I'm just going to put that out there.
No, it's
That's
definitely
one area you really, really want to be careful of.
Yeah, definitely that area, Lawrence, and like you said, mentioned before, Warren Township. It's tricky in some areas, and it's good to have someone on your side taking a look. So,
okay, and then one more of the township areas is Washington Township up here. I like Washington Township. I feel like it's kind of right in the middle of Carmel and Zionsville. This area up here is very, very the high end of town, I would say. So like you're gonna find a lot of your $500,000 plus houses up there. And then down here in Meridian Hills and Broad Ripple, these are the old like 1900s mansions that are also bringing like $750,000 million dollar houses. Right in the middle here right on the north end of town, right at 12 o'clock is Washington Township. You can find 1950s, 1960s houses here, put a little bit of renovation into them, cosmetic, maybe knock down a couple walls, make it open concept. And a lot of people are really wanting to get in this area. Like for instance, I had a couple last year that they wanted to be within biking distance of Broad Ripple. And so we went and we found a renovated house. It was like $225,000. Well, that investor probably paid, and again, I don't know how much you paid exactly, but 130 to 150, put a little bit of work into it and was able to flip it and sell it on the retail market. So yes, you can do rentals in here, but honestly, I think this area probably is very underdeveloped for flippers.
yeah,
That you can do a lot of good work up there, get a house for a pretty good, decent bargain. And then I just know it's an area that a lot of homeowners are really looking to get into, and it's just hard to get into there. So Washington Township, I would say, is another good area for you to look into flipping with that area. Okay, so there's our townships. And honestly, I personally like a lot of the townships. I feel like you've got a lot of more flexibility. Yes, your price points are going to be higher. You're not going to find $30,000 houses in this areas, but you have your, both your equity building in these areas. If you're going to hold, you've got some good solid rentals. If you can find them that just need some cosmetic work, a lot of people in these areas just want turnkey stuff. Like I'm talking as far as homeowners. So if you go in there, do all the cosmetic stuff, make sure the roof's good, you're going to get top dollar in all of these areas. So I feel like the whole township areas are really, really good. So next I'm going to come downtown. So I kind of have my favorite neighborhood. So I'm just going to kind of touch a little bit on some of my favorite neighborhoods.
perfect.
So one of my favorite areas, so what I like to do on the map is zoom in, and I zoomed in too far till you get to the zoo. So like if you're on Google Maps, just go find the zoo. Okay, so that's a really good point. It's basically the far west point of town. From the zoo, you see White River Parkway, White River coming up, and along on the west side of that is White River Parkway Drive. So just north of there, and you can see on this map, is something called 16 Tech. And I'm sure that Randy, you guys have probably talked about this a little bit. It's a big economic development.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of manufacturing. It's got apartment buildings. It's got retail stuff. It's got offices. It's just a really good area that's being developed right now. And I think because of that, all of this area around here is also getting developed. So that's off of 16th Street. If you go down to 10th Street, this says IUPUI here. So that's Indiana University, Purdue University for all of you out-of-state investors. So right along 10th Street here is kind of Hospital Row. So there's several hospitals here. They're not just regular hospitals, they're training hospitals. So there's a lot of med students coming in here. There's a lot of contract nurses coming in here. So because of these two things, right along White River Parkway here, they've got a couple of great big huge new apartment buildings that have popped up here. They're multi-use, they've got some development planning for like some offices and some retail buildings in there. So because of that, it's kind of an ink blot effect. So from that corner and the zoo, everything along here is starting to develop up. What you're going to find in this whole area, and you'll hear like the neighborhood Stringtown and Hawville. And if you talk to any of the old timers in here, Hawville is like just the worst place in the world to be. But if you go drive down there right now, it's changing, and it's so exciting to see the changes that are happening. So a lot of these houses right along here are being bought up, being renovated. Some of them, they're actually tearing down the houses, building new houses there. And there's houses that used to be a $30,000 house, $20,000 house there. They're tearing them down or fixing them up and selling them for like $150,000. And again, this is just starting. So to me, this is an area that within 2 to 3 years is going to start to really develop up. One of the strategies that I like in this neighborhood is go ahead and buy that $30,000 to $50,000 house, put enough fixes in it so that it's rent ready. You don't have to put your granite countertops and your hardwood floors in there. Just get it rent ready. You can rent like a 2-bedroom, 1-bath in this area for about $750, 3-bedroom about $950, and just hold on to it for 2 or 3 years. See what the area does around it and how fast it develops. Then at that point, go in there, do higher end renovations on it, and then you can either sell it at that time or put in a higher end tenant for like $1,200, $1,300. And again, I don't have a magic 8 ball. I can't tell the future, but that's kind of what I think this whole area there is going to start doing. Another reason for that is if you go just to the left of here, it's on off of Holt Road. In this little area right here, a developer has come in and done completely brand new apartment buildings, and then built like a whole new subdivision in the middle of this older neighborhood of brand new homes that are selling for $300,000 and $400,000. So if you have the development here with the apartment buildings, you have this huge development over here of a brand new subdivision and apartment buildings. All of this area in here is going to get squished and be able to just completely explode in the next couple of years. So this west side of town is actually one of my favorite areas that I really like. Obviously, if we're talking neighborhoods, one of the most popular areas is Fountain Square. So again, back in the day, you'll hear stories of how people were buying for $10,000 and putting $100,000 into it and selling them for $500,000. To me, that's kind of slowed down a little bit, but it still is a very, very popular area for flippers. So you're not going to find the $10,000 houses in here. So just don't think that's going to happen. But you can find something for like $90,000, $100,000. Put about $100,000 worth into it. In my opinion is instead of going for that $400,000 to $500,000 price range, do like the finishes that are going to sell for like $300 to $350, because you're right at the bottom of that price range, and then you're going to be able to just sell it all day long. So, and then because of that, so Fountain Square, and a lot of you, we talk about the Good Bones show and Two Chicks in the Hammer. They've really brought a lot of property popularity to this area. So this is Fountain Square on the outside. If you go inside, this is Bates Hendricks. So again, this is also getting very popular, but it's a very good flip area. And then because this is getting oversaturated with developers, a lot of people are now going out to the old South Side. So same things happening in here where you can find these older buildings, put some good renovations in it. Don't put lipstick on a pig. I hate it when I go in a house and they've not done a good renovation. So if you're going to develop this area, make sure that you're doing the nice, good high-end furnishings. Get some good contractors on board so that they can help you. But this whole area, Fletcher Place is really gentrified right now, and so that's really, really a good area. So any of this area here, if it's not being developed now, it's going to be soon. So, and then if you go south of there, we've got Garfield Park as another area. This park itself, the closer you get to the park, I feel like the higher you can get. Again, these are your old 1930s, 1940s houses. A lot of them are really big, so it's going to take a little bit more to do the renovations on them. But so instead of concentrating, in my opinion, right where all of it's happening, go ahead and say, okay, which way is it going to develop from there? Are we going to go to the west? We're going to the south a little bit. So then if we go to the east of Fountain Square, So if you go, again, this is kind of the squishing effect here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a technical term there. Okay, so Irvington is a very nice, well-established neighborhood. A lot of historical district type houses here that it's just kind of like the old school neighborhood where people have lived there forever, taking care of it. They're gonna have like, you know, the Christmas type things and decorations. That's what this house is. A lot of it is just, you know, really old school here. Then you've got Fountain Square here that's been completely developed up. So what's happening in the middle here? So we're getting the effect where it's going this way and it's coming this way. So this house, this area right here is also areas that you can find good houses for a decent price. And again, you can hold on to them for a little bit and, you know, have a rental in there and then do a higher end flip later, or go ahead and start with the higher end flip. So this is like Christian Park, Grace Tuxedo Park. All of this area right here is where a lot of developers are concentrating on. One of my favorite areas is Little Flower. And from Little Flower all the way over, all along Brookside Park here, this whole area, they've brought in some little coffee shops, some new little restaurants on here. When you see that happening, you know that neighborhood's going to turn.
Yeah.
So again, you can find really good bargains all along in this area. And then you're able to flip them. So like find a house for $30 to $50,000, put a nice renovation into it, sell it for 150 to 200. So again, it's not the huge jumps, but it's enough that you're going to get a nice solid cash flow going on it. There also is a lot of good rentals in this area. I would say your 3 bedrooms are probably $950 to $1,100. So again, if you find something for 50, 60,000, put 10 or 20 into it to get it up to par, get your rentals in there. I think that's also a really good area. And again, it's like, this is one of those where you just start driving the neighborhood and 2 out of 4 houses are being developed. So you know that it's going in the right direction, but you can also still find good bargains in that area. So, and obviously there's lots of different neighborhoods that we can talk about, like Broad Ripple. So, well, let's talk that one really quick. So this is more to the north. Zoom out a little bit so we can see it. So you see up here, Rocky Ripple. So right near Rocky Ripple is Butler University. Oh, we didn't talk about Beech Grove either. There's so many good neighborhoods.
Yeah, there really are.
So if you're in this area, this is Rocky Ripple. This is Butler University over in this area. Meridian Kessler is where the big mansions are. Keystone Avenue is kind of one of those dividing lines here. And then the farther down here, you get a neighborhood we like to call Broad Ripple that has a lot of really good restaurants and things in it. So from that, I lost my Children's Museum. Here it is. So Children's Museum is another one that I found. And then just south of here, it's a good marker to show on the maps. Just south of here is Ivy Tech University. Ivy Tech is buying up a lot of the land around it, doing a lot of expansions. Children's Museum is one of the top museums in the world, like one of the top 5. So it's an awesome museum. Honestly, it's not just for kids. I talked to like a 20-year-old kid at Starbucks one time that's like, what are you doing this weekend? I'm going to Children's Museum with all my single buddies. So it's really a great museum. And because of that and Ivy Tech, I feel like this whole area is another one that's about ready to explode. And then north of here, where Broad Ripple is very developed, but the farther down that you come, I'm trying to find my Fall Creek Park. There we go. All of this area along I lost it. Here we go. College Avenue and Fall Creek Parkway. That's where I was looking. All of this area from College Avenue, right along College Avenue, they're rebuilding a lot of the old Victorian mansion type things, turn them into duplexes, triplexes, condos, a lot of that kind of thing. And from that, all of these little side roads along here are another good area to look at for development. So I messed up my clock thing that I like to follow, but one more quick thing down that I missed when I was down here on the south end. So basically 6 o'clock and then like 5 o'clock in the southwest corner. Inside is Beech Grove. Beech Grove is another little kind of town, just like Speedway. They're trying to develop the downtown area. A lot of 1940s, 50s houses, great area to do some flips, great area for rental. Rentals in that area about 1,000 to 1,200. And then, and also it's by University of Indianapolis, which you also can find college housing is there as well. So kind of got off track with my whole circle there, but I mean, basically there's lots of just different little pockets all around the inside, lots of different areas. You can find your $30,000 to $50,000 houses, fix them up, put rentals in them, fix them up, flip them. You've got your nice township areas where you can get $100,000 to $150,000 houses, put a little bit into them, make some money off of them, get some holds into it. So just in conclusion, basically, in all around Indianapolis, there's lots of different pockets, lots of different ways to invest. And basically any type of investor that wants to be in this area can. My advice would be is to find some good boots on the ground and just have someone, if you're not in the area, make sure you have someone that can put eyeballs on this property, give you good, honest opinions on what's going to happen.
Well, that's awesome, Gloria. A lot of information to take in there, and I'm sure that was great. First off, kind of getting your perspective of everything, and I'm sure that anyone who's experienced or new definitely took something away from this. I definitely took some of your insight as well. Took some notes, and it's probably going to help me out. So that is a lot to kind of cram into this one podcast. So I know there's more. You could have talked for probably an hour and a half about the city. So if there is any questions that anyone has, can people email you, or how should they contact you if they have any questions about any neighborhoods?
Absolutely. I mean, and as you can tell, I'm kind of passionate about this. I
A little
love
bit.
that investors are coming in, and we're just making Indianapolis a more beautiful city.
Yeah.
And we're just helping out in the communities and helping these neighborhoods. So yes, I like to talk to brand new investors. I don't mind, because I like to educate them about the different areas. And then, in the experienced investors, I'm always learning something from them too. So I love networking. I love talking about the areas in the neighborhood. So they're welcome to call me. Can I go ahead and give my phone number on here? Or
it's your information. Do as you wish.
Okay. So my phone number is 317-750-4998. Right now, my email is Gloria Gear, GLORIAGEAR @kw.com. And yes, I'm willing to just chat with anybody or discuss things, or hopefully help you out if I can help you get started in investing in the Indianapolis area. Would love to talk with you.
Awesome. Well, again, I really appreciate you taking the time being on here, Gloria. Great information. Thanks for coming on. And if anyone else has any other topics that they want to hear about Indianapolis, always reach out to us, myself or Brian at Simple Wholesaling, and let us know what you want us to cover on the show. And with that wraps up today's episode, and we will see you on the next show.